16th President Abraham Lincoln once quoted, "The ballot is stronger than the bullet." This past year's election cycle proves that to be true. In the United States, we have a unique power to choose our own elected officials, and it's very important that each American knows how to correctly inform themselves about each candidate. We just experienced a life-changing election cycle, and these elections will continue to come every 4 years with House and Senate midterms in between. As a voter and American citizen, I'm very invested in the American political system. This will not be a lecture on who you should have voted for or who you shouldn't have voted for, but yet a tool for the future to better prepare yourself for the many aspects of the political system that go into each of our elections. Several aspects go into casting your vote for a candidate. These include a candidate's vast political platform, their personality and values, and the ability for each of us to vote objectively and do research beyond headlines. As we begin to enter a new presidential term, it's important to begin now doing research and learning about a candidate's platform, as well as things that each candidate accomplishes during their term. Political issues are not black and white, meaning they are very complex and require critical thinking to understand causes and effects. Candidates in both parties tend to promote what are known as feel-good policies, which means they sound amazing in theory, but they just don't work, and can often cause more harm. Understanding the reason that people support a policy is also very important in determining your own values. For example, in the abortion debate, many Democrats view Republicans' view as anti-women's rights, and many Republicans view Democrats' view of abortion as allowing the mass murder of children. This polarized debate stems from not understanding each other instead of spreading positivity and spreading hatred. Voting against your preferred party is okay. I will stress that. Voting against your party is okay. It allows you to find differences in your candidate and your party that you normally vote for. For example, President Trump in 2016 largely won the election for being different and not being like every other Republican. These policy differences that he had compared to other mainstream Republicans at the time led to his eventual victory. An example locally is Kentucky's Senate race. Democrat Amy McGrath, which I'm sure you've seen hundreds of ads about, has largely separated herself from the Democratic establishment, as she is pro-gun and pro-border security, which are very much different than most Democrats. Although a candidate's political platform is arguably the most important aspect of a candidate, you must take into consideration who they are as a person and whether they share your values. The positives and negatives of each candidate and how they carry themselves is a huge hint at how they will represent your country or state. In this election cycle, President Trump tends to be very strong-willed and not afraid to speak his mind. This is a good trait, however, it has also led to a misuse of Twitter and several mishaps which hurt his re-election effort. Vice President Biden was significantly more traditional and soft-spoken than the president. This allows Biden to carry himself significantly more professionally. Republicans, although viewed his tendency to stutter and health concerns as significant negatives to his re-election. It is important when examining a candidate's personal values to seek for the positives while also holding each candidate to the same standard. Many in today's polarized political climate criticize candidates for their past decisions and actions while ignoring similar actions by their preferred candidate. And as well, campaign ads have become increasingly negative, which means we're slowly losing easily accessible, positive information about candidates. It is very hard to view a candidate's policies and values in an objective way when media sources values clicks over objective information. Media sources are driven by eye-drawing headlines and stories that cover what the audience will consume. The media will tend to ignore positive things a candidate does due to negative headlines selling more than positives. This can have a major impact on one's perception of a candidate if the positive things they do are never broadcast, while their negatives are dwelled on for months. Learning to do your own research beyond news headlines is very important, as you can get the full context and it's an easy way to learn about what's actually going on rather than relying on a clickbait title. Another great way to learn about candidates is by doing research on their websites and looking for positive things, even about candidates you don't like. Doing in-depth research is important for finding out a candidate's political platform and personal values that influence your vote. In 2022, we will be tasked with midterm House elections that will shape our legislature, and it's very important to know how to correctly inform yourself about each candidate's political platform and personal values to choose the candidate that is best for you. In conclusion, no matter who you voted for in this past election cycle, correctly informing yourself can lead to changing opinions and a broad knowledge of United States government. Thank you for your time.